Tidak ada Pak, cukup jelas.
Oke, terima kasih.
CG, is CG complete?
Nggak ada suara.
Complete.
Oke, CO? Okay, we're going to begin the match of the final round. Welcome to the National Universe. Kok suara? Am I audible?
Yes.
Hello guys. Okay, thank you. Welcome to the National University Debating Championship Selection, University Labuan Mangkurat 2020, and this is the final round with the motion this house prefers a country with a diversity. We have opening government. Rifki Jidan and Salsabila Nurwidia, opening opposition Tria Milenia and Karina Estiani, closing government Muhammad Alfianur and Rosip Syahdan, and closing opposition Ivania Anata and Medan Nur Anissa. Without further ado, I would like to invite Prime Minister. Time is yours.
Waktunya nggak di screen kah, Pak?
The time is 7 minutes, 20 seconds.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today our motion is this house prefers a country without diversity. Well, we see how diversity exists. Diversity is when we are different with others, ladies and gentlemen, and we know that we are in our status quo right now. We born with a diversity. Like the example is we are born with the different race, religion, and sexual orientation, and then also the culture heritage. When ladies and gentlemen, let's see in our status quo right now that we know that there's a lot of, as we know that a diversity, and then we know that we already doing a lot of campaign and so on. We post in social media how diversity is good and so on. And we believe that this is not enough to solve the problem that actually happened, ladies and gentlemen. We know that we as the human have a human natural tendency to have a stereotype about some group. And we as the government team strongly believe that it is okay if we are not have a diversity, because this diversity is actually lead a lot of problem. And we prefer all human is the same. As we know that this philosophical motion, so we prefer that all human is the same. And in this motion that we talk about a country without diversity. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we know that diversity is an objective matters. When you are when you have something that could make you seen differently with others, that's what's the opposite, objective matters. That's what make diversity as the objective matters. And then it is seen, and for example is when you have a physical difference, and then also you have when it comes to religion, you have a religion attribute on you, and that is something that could be seen on you. And ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the subjective matters. When we know that it is a people who have a lot of perception, ladies and gentlemen, because the diversity itself make you seen different with others. It will make a lot of difference when people see something different. As I said before, that human have a natural tendency to have stereotype about some group, and this diversity is make you seen as one group or another one. And we see it, and we believe that sometimes in these subjective matters, that it will make a lot of perception for some groups, and then sometimes, and this is the problem. The problem is one group, mostly one group is thinking that their belief that they are better than the other group. And also sometimes there is a stereotype to some group that makes that gentlemen, and we believe that it will make because this stereotype that make them feel better than others, it will make they feel unrespect with that another group, ladies and gentlemen. And that is the urgency when someone is unrespect with others, well, just because the diversity, it will make the problematic problem that the problem is, we know that it's already happened when someone is raped, and also we are doing a discrimination. We believe that when it comes to have no diversity, it will make the discrimination is not exist at all, ladies and gentlemen, because of this diversity. And that's how the that's how the discrimination happened. That how when people unrespect, ladies and gentlemen. And then let's see when and I will give you the justification, and then also my teammate will give the stakeholder analysis. So, ladies and gentlemen, we as the government strongly believe that it is better if we it's okay to have no diversity, and we believe when it comes to diversity, it will make some the criminality is exists because of this diversity, because the stereotype that been happened by this diversity, ladies and gentlemen, because the that subjective matters. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, let's see if there is no diversity, for example, in one country, we have no judgment to someone just by see to a person, ladies and gentlemen, because when because the discrimination itself is happen when they're see the different with that group, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we believe that the urgency is the problem is always exists. And then also the in our status quo right now, as we know that we already doing a lot of campaign and then also and so on, but it always exists. The discrimination is still exists. There is a lot of different stereotype with others. Well, actually, it's actually well, that stereotype is not mostly not happen in this case, gentlemen. So that's why we believe that we prefer a country with a diversity. When a person don't feel better than another group, they will make they will respect each other, and then also they are not see a person is bad than them. And that's why that because we also believe that the progress in our status quo right now, that the campaign and so on is still doesn't enough to solve the problem, like the criminal that already being shown in first slide, that there is a racism, and then also the religion, and then also the sexual orientation and so on. And we believe in the cultural heritage. So that's why, ladies and gentlemen, because this human perception that makes that have a stereotype of some group, we believe that this a country with the diversity will make a peace, will make a person can treat another very well, and they not see each other as you are from a group one and group another. We believe that in our status quo right now, that not all the citizens is educated well to have a judgmental to someone, ladies and gentlemen. And that's why the urgency is, the problem is always exists, and not all this we already doing the campaign, we are doing the education to someone, but I think that's all. Thank you for attention.
Prime Minister spent 7 minutes 28 seconds. 7 minutes 28 seconds. To open the case from the opposition side of the House, I would like to invite leader of the opposition. Time is yours.
Am I audible?
Sure.
All right, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, as long as human will always born differently, we think that discrimination will always happen, even without the diversity itself. We believe that diversity is actually will always be exist, even though there's no different races or different religions or even different sexual orientations. We believe that it is okay to live, and we prefer to live within this diversity itself, ladies and gentlemen. Now, going to see the cases coming from the government side of the house. They believe there is actually it is human tendency to always start a stereotyping stereotyping the other person to themselves. Well, we think that it is no problem with it. We think that it is no problem with it, and we think that it is not the cause of the discriminations itself, ladies and gentlemen. The discriminations happen is not because of this diversity, but because of the multi-layer factors happens before the discriminations happen, and between the diversity and also the discriminations itself, ladies and gentlemen. I'll explain to you in my argument later on. And also, ladies and gentlemen, they think that if we live without the diversity itself, that we're going to live in peace. While we believe, ladies and gentlemen, as long as human will always be different, even though they are all are white person, for example, white people. Even though they are all white people, or even though they all are Muslims, there will be still always be discriminations happen inside of this people itself, ladies and gentlemen. We believe that the internal discrimination will always be happened, and we could not live without the diversity itself, ladies and gentlemen. Now, moving on to my cases. Ladies and gentlemen, as the option side of the house, we believe that we're going to live within this diversity. We prefer a country with diversity itself, ladies and gentlemen. Our goals here, we're trying to embrace all the diversity. We're trying to encourage people that is actually how exclusive this diversity to bring it into our life, ladies and gentlemen. Now we see that what is actually the diversity itself. Now diversity is actually variety of aspect in life. As the government side of the house said, it is including race, sex, religion, and we're talking about extensions of it. We're talking also about the different physical appearance. We're talking also about the wealth conditions and also intelligence itself, ladies and gentlemen. Those are also including the diversities, right? Even though we live in the same race people, that those difference will always be exist, and those discriminations will always be happen. So we could not live with the diversity itself. Now, next on, I will tell you about why actually this diversity will be beneficial enough for our society, and why it is exclusive to live with it. Now, first, talking about discrimination. Our first justification is the nature of discrimination. Ladies and gentlemen, why is actually discriminations happen? Why actually the government side of the house just like mainly said about this discriminations only happen because of the diversity? We believe that between the diversity and discriminations, there are always a step towards this problem itself, ladies and gentlemen. Diversity, the diversity itself will actually talking it is as the natural effect itself, ladies and gentlemen. Between the diversity and discriminations, people are trying to the people characteristic is the main thing that driving these discriminations cases, ladies and gentlemen. Discriminations happen because people see lots of differences, right? And they see that the nature of human itself they will be always envy. They always envy to see the other peoples are going to live or are having a better life, for example. And we think that it is actually the human characteristic that they are afraid of being left out. They're trying to be better. They're trying to override what they have, so that by living with this diversity, by living in the diversity and creating misconceptions of the diversity itself, they think that they think that they are better than the other, so the discriminations is happen. Now the problem is not the diversity, right, but also the misconceptions of these people about the diversity itself, about how they have to be, like better than the other. And we believe that the diversity itself is not only about the religion, about the sexual orientations, and also the race itself, but even when like between a Muslim people, or even between a girl, like, living in a world where all of these people, like in a country, they all are white people, so that and they will happen, right? They will think that, oh, she's better than me, she's beautifuler than me, and how that we could guarantee that this peace will happen if we live without the diversity? Well, actually, the internal discriminations will always happen, and the diversity will always be exist in our life, ladies and gentlemen. Now, secondly, what is actually the exclusivity of the diversity itself? Ladies and gentlemen, by living with this diversity, we believe that our society, our people in this world will live to know about the tolerance, the idea of understanding the others, the idea of being grateful for what we have, and also the idea of encouraging others to, like be grateful for what we have. And also the tolerance, the idea of this tolerance itself is not it is actually why is the diversity needed inside of our society, ladies and gentlemen. This diversity will make people widen their spectrum of life itself, ladies and gentlemen. It teaches us there are lots of kinds of human beings. For example, if we create a country, for example, like America, we're going to make this America within only white people only. So now, and we're going to make the Africa, for example, for only black people lives there. And how if these people are going? How if these white people going to Africa? What will be happen, ladies and gentlemen? They could not interact. They could not, understanding the difference itself. They will be like oppressed, and also they will feel like, like this discriminations will always be happen, even though we're trying to make a country without the diversity itself, right, ladies and gentlemen? So rather than living without the diversity, we believe that our world will always be better within the diversity itself, the diversity itself that teach us on how we're going to tolerate the others, how we could understand the others, how we could understanding
Time's up.
their point of view. So, as the
Time's up.
opposition side of the House, we proudly oppose this motion. Thank you.
Leader opposition spent 7 minutes 29 seconds. 7 minutes 29 seconds. Now to extend the case from the opening side of the House, I would like to invite Deputy of Prime Minister. Time is yours.
Am I audible? Am I clear?
No.
Yeah.
Audible, right?
Yeah.
All right. Panel, if there's one thing that we may understand from humanity is that human enjoy similarities, and based on that, human also enjoy putting people into boxes and putting their own self into boxes. Based on that, we think as team government, the world and countries will be even better without diversities, because based on their human tendencies. Under my speech, I'm going to explain to you how, based on that tendencies, the status quo will be not enough. Therefore, changes need to be happen. And we prefer the world, a country with a diversity. And number two, I'm going to also explain to you how, with that very same tendencies of human, it will also bring peace to the world, to the country, without diversity within the country itself. Where my responses will be mixed within my speech. But before that, let's highlight one important thing under our motions. Under this motion, as team government, we think that the question is not whether or not it is possible for us to remove diversity in a country, right? But the question is, we need to weigh and measure which one will be better or which one will stay the same. Either it is staying with the status quo or choosing to have a country with no diversity at all. As team government, our stand is both. Our stand is clear that we choose a country without diversity. Moving on, let's highlight the definition of diversity on the debate today. As OG, we define diversity as a distinct differences between human that coming from the natural heritage and natural genetics, for example, like race, gender expression, and also gender religion expression, religion attire, and so on and so forth. But we also agree with opening opposition that diversity also include people qualities such as intelligence, which is genetics and also developed, and also their physical appearance, which also correlated with race, skin color, and so forth, and also things correlated with wealth, privileges, and so on and so forth. We agree with team opposition that those criteria also measured as diversity. Now, what makes government team believe that diversity at the end of the day could lead into a problem? We agree that it is not that ideal to demonetize diversity at all. However, we think that diversity is the root for the problem. Even if it is not demonetized, it is still the root for the problem that happened in status quo. And if we have a change to choose whether we need to erase diversity or not, we believe that we need to choose to remove diversity, to the diversity itself. Why we think so? Let's talk about human. Human have natural tendencies to love similarities. Why human love similarities? Because within similarities, human have sense of belongings. Human have sense of security because they see people the same with them, because they perceive that other people are the same, coming from the same group or coming from the same box with them. Based on that similarities, human have tendency to think and to stereotyping people who are different with them, especially when the differences are very distinct. For example, like skin color or both gender expression and so on and so forth. Under that, why it could be problematic? It could be problematic when people, when that stereotyping becoming discrimination behavior. The discrimination behavior always be the natural tendency of humans. Why we think that even if that we are controlling that behavior, the problem still happen anyway, because even if education and massive campaigning happen in the status quo, even if the feminism movement and social movement campaigning and educating people that differences are okay, we think that problem still going to exist anyway, because it is a form of cycle. Why it is a form of cycle? Why it is a form of cycle? Because we think the more massive the campaign, or the more massive the educating progressive and the status quo, it is indicating that the bigger the problem also. Meaning that even if that we keep on moving forward to make our education progressive, we think that the problem is still going to be developed anyway. The problem will be progressive anyway. Therefore, we think that the problem will not stop. The cycle will stay the same if we're not cutting the root. What is the root? The root is not only the problem, the human tendencies and the human behavior, but the root is the diversity that exists within humans. Therefore, we think that it will be better for us to choose a country without diversity. Moving on. Team opposition believes that the discrimination happened because of people misconception of diversity. We agree with that, because however, this misconception is still uncontrollable. It's still going to happen anyway in the future. Therefore, we need to cut it anyway at the end of the day,